They are all buried, all removed from military combat manuals, wartime operative training, and elite close-quarters combat programs for one single reason. Those who created them decided the world simply wasn't ready for them. You won't find these techniques in any gym. You will never see them inside an MMA cage. Today, we are ranking the 7 most brutal military close combat techniques in history. By the time you reach number 1, you'll understand exactly why these secrets were locked away. Have you heard of the legendary William E. Fairbairn, who survived over 600 deadly street fights in the dark alleys of Shanghai in the 1940s? His ruthless close-quarters combat system trained the most elite forces of World War II, including the OSS, SOE, and US Rangers. He had one single goal: to end a fight in seconds, decisively. And that is exactly why most of these techniques were permanently erased from public training. Let's begin. Number 7. The chin jab, the instant shut-off switch. William Fairbairn's signature technique. Every undercover operative under the Office of Strategic Services during World War II was taught this. Forget a normal boxing punch. This is a sledgehammer blow driven violently upward into the base of the jaw with the hard heel of the palm. The mechanics are brutal. The jaw acts as a lever, violently snapping the head backward. This sudden hyperextension creates a concussive shockwave that travels from the base of the skull straight into the brainstem. Fairbairn personally documented that when applied with full force, this strike instantly shuts off consciousness and could even snap the neck. For agents working in silent, confined environments, it was invaluable. The target is always exposed, and because the strike comes from below, it is nearly impossible to defend against. Number 6. The mastoid strike, the nervous system crasher. Just behind the ear, at the base of the skull, lies a small bone called the mastoid process. While it may seem insignificant to the touch, this is one of the most neurologically sensitive points in the human body, resting directly over the nerves leading to the brainstem. Why was it banned? Agents operating in occupied territories used this point as a silent disable button. A short, sharp strike, delivered here with the knife edge of the hand, transmits a concussive force to the nerves controlling facial movement, hearing, and balance, crashing the nervous system in seconds. It is not a wide, swinging punch. It is a short, crisp, and lethal strike. Because the target is tucked behind the ear, it is a completely unprotected blind spot that an opponent would never even think to defend during a struggle. Number 5. The tiger claw, sensory overload. While most fighting systems target hard surfaces like the jaw or temple, Fairbairn focused on the most vulnerable structure of the human body, the absolute center of the face. In this technique, the fingers are spread wide, and the hand, slightly curved like a claw, is thrust violently directly into the opponent's face. What is its purpose? Not to slap or punch, but to apply brutal pressure simultaneously to the eyes, nose, mouth, and the nerve-dense area of the upper lip. When the brain is hit with sudden pain, blindness, and breathing difficulty all at once, the system overloads. The opponent instinctively recoils, gets confused, and is left completely defenseless. Fairbairn's philosophy was clear. Disrupting an opponent's senses is far more effective than just throwing a strong punch. Number 4. The shin scrape and instep stomp, the foundation destroyer. This is a non-stop, 2-part nightmare designed to cripple an opponent in less than a second. Fairbairn designed this for situations where, an operative was face-to-face with an attacker and just couldn't create any distance. Here's how it works. The front of the shin bone is covered by a very thin membrane, called the periosteum, which is honestly packed with pain receptors. So, when the hard edge of a military boot violently scrapes down the shin from the knee to the ankle, it sends a paralyzing shock of pain right through the nervous system. In that split second, when the opponent's brain is just locked in agony, your heel stomps down with your entire body weight onto the top of their foot, the metatarsals. The human foot just can't withstand this crushing downward force and, well, it breaks instantly. Fairbairn's logic was simple. If he can't stand, he can't chase you, and he can't fight you. Because it leaves permanent physical damage, this move's been completely wiped from all modern training. Number 3. Fish hooking, skull manipulation. The human skull is like armor, so Fairbairn chose to steer it rather than strike it. The body is forced to go where the head goes. The fish hooking technique uses the only direct opening into the skull, the mouth. The application is honestly horrifying. The index and middle fingers are hooked into the corner of the opponent's mouth, catching the inner cheek, and the head is violently ripped backward and outward. No matter how muscular or massive the guy is, the neck just can't resist this pain, and the head instantly turns. This move immediately destroys the opponent's balance and leaves their throat completely open to attack. Used in close quarters combat, like trenches or hallways during World War II, this technique was quickly banned because it easily tears cheek tissue and permanently shreds facial nerves. Number 2. The collar choke, clothing weaponized. Classic chokeholds take time and require you to get behind your opponent, but in the middle of a war, you just don't have time. Fairbairn's solution was to turn the opponent's own clothing into a deadly weapon. What's the difference? The opponent's lapels are gripped tightly on both sides, and the hands are violently twisted inward. As you do this, your knuckles dig directly into the opponent's trachea, the sides of the windpipe. Unlike sports chokes that slow down blood flow, this technique directly crushes the airway. It cuts off breath and puts lethal pressure on the laryngeal cartilage. It's nearly impossible to escape from and leaves permanent damage in just seconds. And number 1, the infamous technique that requires zero brute force and relies entirely on physics and leverage, developed by Frank Deliscu, who trained the U.S. Rangers during World War II. All you need is a wire, a strong piece of rope, or even a shoelace. How is it used? You approach the opponent silently from behind. The center of the rope is dropped right behind the opponent's knees into the crease, and both ends are violently pulled upward and backward at the same time. The supporting pillars of both legs buckle instantly. Before the opponent even realizes what's happening, their center of gravity is gone, and they slam face first into the ground. It's completely silent, instantly effective, and incredibly ruthless. It's exactly because of this too easy and too deadly nature that it has been completely banned from regular military training. These 7 techniques prove just how ruthless and boundaryless survival was in the shadows of World War II. In a world without sports rules, rounds, or referees, the only rule was to survive. Do you think any of these techniques should be allowed to be taught today under the scope of legitimate self-defense? Let's debate in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications.